Dharmaraja, he leaves that place. He goes back to the potter's house. Kunti is not here. So only the five. No, Kunti is here. They both go away. Kunti and Dharmaraja, they leave the place because they anticipate a huge war there. They can see that already coming because all the Kshatriyas are offended. Kshatriyas are mad at Drupada Maharaja and also this boy who won. So they are attacking. They're talking among themselves to attack Drupada Maharaja because this guy did all these things only to insult us. That is their take on it. Yeah. So everybody is attacking Drupada Maharaja, and Bhima and Arjuna, they fight on behalf of Drupada Maharaja, and everybody is surprised. How come these two Brahmins are so strong? This guy on one side, he's plucking the trees and throwing on everybody, Bhima. And Brahmins are generally, they know archery for sure, but they're not physically so strong that they'll be able to pluck a tree because the kind of food that they eat is very soft in nature. So they're not meat eaters. They don't have so much of protein in their diet. So it's naturally not possible for a person who's a Brahmin to lift a tree, hit on somebody, then make him bleed like hell. All those things are not possible.
But in Ramayana last year, didn't you say Brahmins used to eat meat like
that was way back, even before Ramayana happened. That was probably in the Krita Yuga when who's Agastya. When we were talking about the story between Agastya and who are those two brothers? Huh? Yes, Vatapi and Ilvala at that time. So that happened even before Ramayana happened, right? Somebody narrated that story to Rama, correct? Yes.
Are those the brothers where one of them got digested or something?
Vatapi got digested, correct. Oh yeah, that point of time, which is times before Ramayana happened. So that there is so many thousands and thousands of years of gap between that time and when Mahabharata is happening, right? So genetically, there are so many modifications that have happened to this particular section of the society that these people. So sometimes what happens is there are some things that you get only from meat. Say for example, B12 is something that you get from meat. I don't eat meat. My entire family doesn't eat meat. But we do not have that B12 deficiency. How? That is because for generations together, the body has got accustomed and it has learned how to make B12 even without feeding the body with meat. So those kind of changes have happened. One second. Those kind of changes have happened over a period of generations and generations of these habits. And that is why there are certain traits and certain qualities in certain person. So similarly, that is why these people are now thinking, looking at Bhima, looking at his strength and his enormity in his stature, this boy doesn't even look like a Brahmin. Who's he? Hold on, guys. 1 second. Okay, one. You go.
You said B12, right? The only thing you can get.
That's a vitamin B12.
Yeah, can't you get it from like multivitamins?
If you are deficient, see, usually for your vitamins, you are not supposed to depend on tablets. You're not supposed to depend on pills. Your vitamins, minerals, everything should naturally come to you from your diet. Because the food that you get outside now is adulterated, it is grown with pesticides and all of those things. Sometimes we are not getting, our body is not getting all the nutrients that it needs to flourish. So we are dependent on all sorts of medicine. Wait, Lasya.
When you said like you get the B12 from like meat, do you get it from like egg or like milk or stuff?
Milk, I don't know, but egg nunchi vastunda? I don't know.
Cause like,
Yeah.
cause I'm vegetarian, but then like my dad makes egg.
What?
I'm vegetarian. But
I'm
my
also
dad
vegetarian.
makes it, so.
Sorry? Technically it is non-vegetarian, right? Because another being comes out of it, right? So it is non-vegetarian. It's not vegetarian. No, somebody asked a question if egg has B12. That is why the topic of egg came up. Okay. Yes.
No. So
1 second.
wouldn't Duryodhana or Kanna be concerned why he's so strong or have anticipate
He
this?
is. They are concerned. Now, like if you let me go into the next part of the story, I'll tell you. They are concerned. Yes.
It's like B12 and like things that provide protein and are vegetarian, like soy, dal, and all.
Maybe. I know on a very high level. I took the word B12 and let it not make a B12 class, okay? How to get B12. So basically what I was trying to say is, depending on the diet that a person takes, they will get some vitamins and minerals they don't get. But for ages, this particular section of the society, the Brahmin section of the society, has not been eating meat, right? But still they are not B12 deficient. How is it possible? So they have found alternates to B12 from some other sources, or their body got adjusted and it can function normally with little amounts of B12. It has got used to it, and the body composition has changed over thousands and thousands of years. That it has become like this. Say for example, earlier when it was Stone Age and that time, people used to eat raw food, right? People used to eat, raw food. They didn't know, there was no, what do you call it? Light, there was no fire. They did not invent fire. Yes. People used to eat raw things. Raw meat they used to eat, raw vegetables, raw grass and everything they used to eat. So they used to have a body part in their digestive system called appendix, which is much bigger. Appendix plays a very important role in animals to digest those kind of raw things. But over a period of centuries, so many thousands and thousands and thousands of years, people have started to cook food and eat. One second. They invented fire, and that changed everything. That changed the food habits of a person. So the role of appendix is not so much in human beings right now as it was there in the olden days. So if you look at it, it doesn't do. Now we have appendix. This tiny appendix is there at the end of the large intestines, and that doesn't have any functionality. It is just there. It is wastage. It doesn't do anything significant. So the size has come drastically down because over a period of time, our body is intelligent enough to understand what is important for this person, what is not important for this person. So similarly, so where did we even So we're talking about Bhima. People were surprised that Bhima is so strong, and people were thinking, how can a Brahmin be like this and fighting at this level? And then Karna and Arjuna, they come face to face, and there's a fierce battle that goes on. Karna is super surprised to face someone like this. He says that only Arjuna has the capability or the weaponry to fight against me. Who are you? Who are you, and how are you even able to face me like this and fight against me like this? Then he says, I am someone from a Brahmin community where I had a guru and he taught me everything. So it's not convinced. Karna is not convinced. But then it is like, okay, he's fighting. He is the reality. He's standing right in front of me and fighting. So they fight. Karna doesn't win. Karna, Duryodhana, all of these people, all of the rest of the kings, they decide, okay, there's nothing we could do now. These two people are really, really strong. It's not some. So initially they think that it is just a matter of luck that this guy won, but it doesn't seem to be like that. This guy seems to be really, really powerful and deserving this. So at this moment, we cannot do anything. Let us go back to our places, think about it, and then come up with a solid plan on about how we could address this situation. They go back, and this Draupadi, the girl Draupadi, comes and puts Varamala around Arjuna's neck. Arjuna's this thing, and they take the Draupadi to their house. The house is the potter's house. Drupada is extremely worried. What just happened? He's still not able to wrap his head around what has happened. It's like, then he calls upon Drishtadyumna and says, I cannot understand anything. I'm lost now. Do one thing. Plant our spies around their house. Follow them. See where they are going. They look like Brahmins, but none of their actions are in alignment with any normal Brahmin. So who are they? Drishtadyumna follows them from a distance, and they go to the house, and they take Draupadi along with them, and they tell Kunti that, okay, we have gotten something, and then she says, distribute among yourself. She's there, but she comes back along with Dharmaraja. She comes back, and then she says, out of like she's not focused. She's also thinking about all these things, right? Oh, this thing has happened. Arjuna won, and Arjuna and Bhima are still there while we are back at home. Are they safe? Duryodhana, Karna, Shalya, all those people are there and they are fighting. There is a fight going on. So her mind is preoccupied. She cannot think straight. She's not really focusing. And then Bhima and Arjuna comes and say that, okay, Arjuna says that I have gotten something. Then she immediately makes a statement, okay, share equally among 5 of you. That's a statement that comes naturally out from her mouth. And then she sees Draupadi and she's like, oh my God, what did I just say? And then they are sitting and discussing. And Drishtadyumna is observing from a distance. Draupadi is not speaking so much because she's new to the environment. She's just observing. She's observing everything. And they sit and talk about a lot of astras, shastras. They talk about all their discussions. See, back in those days, in a Brahmin family, what would you typically talk about? Yagnas. What is tomorrow? What is the puja that we are going to do tomorrow? Where are we going to procure our food from? Because most of the times they go around the town and ask for food, right? So those kind of conversations should be happening. But on the contrary, in this house, they are talking about a weapon. They are talking about a possible politics. They're talking about how a good administrator should behave. So what are these conversations? Look at the people and look at what they're talking. There is no sync. So Drishtadyumna is confused and he's just observing. And then comes a topic where they think that, okay, Kunti Devi says that, okay, I have asked you to distribute among yourselves and I still stick to those words. I think all 5 of you should get married. Dharmaraja also says that. And everybody seems to be in agreement with that. Drishtadyumna is blown out of proportion. What are these guys? Where did we even land? And Draupadi is also not opposing. She's just quietly sitting there. So, and in the meantime, Krishna, Balarama come to the place where they are living. But they talk to them, they have a conversation. But Drishtadyumna cannot see any of this. He cannot, so it is Krishna's Maya that he comes, meets with them, but Drishtadyumna cannot see all of this. That happens. And then eventually it is evening time. And then they go and get food. They get it from the outside. So they go and ask for food. They get some food. They come back. And Kunti Devi asks Draupadi to make it into few parts. First, make the food into 2 parts. 1 part you give to Bhima. In the other part, keep some food aside for any guest that might come to the house or some of the Brahmins. Daumya is there, right, along with them? So you need to feed him also. Now it's not just 6 of them, 7 of them. So put some food aside for the Brahmins who might come. Yeah. And then make equal parts of remaining food for all of us, like the 4 brothers, Draupadi, Kunti, and some food for the people who might come. So Draupadi exactly does whatever they ask them to do, like a very devoted daughter-in-law. She follows the instructions and she does that. Everybody eat it. Drishtadyumna is like, no, this is my sister. She's a princess of Panchala Desa. And in her own country, in her own Desa, now she is depending on food that was given by somebody. He is like, I don't know what is going on. He's just watching. But he's perplexed at this moment because these people, they talk like warriors. They behave like they are nobody. He doesn't know. And then he's just watching and then they make arrangements to sleep. So Draupadi is asked to go and get some grass, make the beds. So Kunti Devi sleeps in one corner. All the 5 brothers sleep next to each other. And at their feet, Draupadi sleeps. That is her bed right there. She is a princess. She is a beauty. And until yesterday, she was sleeping on beds that are the most coziest ones, the soft ones, probably made out of silk. But she doesn't complain. She's such a devoted person. She accepts, this is the family that I'm entering into. I'll be one among them. I'll learn to be one among them. But Drishtadyumna again is like, oh gosh, what is going on here? And then he goes back to Drupada and he explains everything to Drupada. He also says, I have a feeling that these are Pandavas themselves. because of the way they are talking and everything, but they are not revealing, they are maintaining low profile. We have to somehow get the facts out of them. There ends the day. That night everybody sleeps, and next day morning Drupada sends all of these his chariots and everything to bring them to their place. Okay, we are done for today.